name alone was enough to strike fear in the hearts of ordinary people in Mid-Ulster, whether it be his nickname King Rat or his real name, Billy Wright. This most zealous of loyalists said he wouldn't kill so-called innocent nationalists. But the truth is, being Catholic alone was enough to be guilty in his eyes.
Wright was probably one of the most dangerous terrorist commanders in the Loyalist side in Northern Ireland. Probably one of the most dangerous they produced in the last 30 years.
Wright and his henchmen were linked to at least 27 murders. His hand-picked victims included men, women, pensioners and teenagers.
They should be here with us. So we should enjoy our life. And the people that done it should never get away with it.
Billy Wright was the most well-protected man, I would say, as much as the Secretary of State. No doubt about that.
There's nothing in Billy Wright's childhood to suggest he would become one of the most ruthless terrorists in Northern Ireland. He was born in Wolverhampton in 1960. When his parents separated, he was moved to Northern Ireland and was put into care. Billy Wright wasn't brought up to hate Catholics. In fact, he lived among them in a largely nationalist area in South Armagh. He had many Catholic friends and even played Gaelic football. But for some reason, all that changed. Wright first joined the UVF's youth wing. His first brush with the law came early when he was jailed in 1977 for arms offences. But it would be almost 20 years before he would be convicted again. In that time, he became one of the UVF's most prolific killers and then went on to form his own terror group, the LVF.
For a terrorist, he was a good leader. He gave them a clear sense of direction. He was absolutely ruthless, and they were afraid of him as well. He was cunning and intelligent, but this sort of perverted intelligence that really focuses on or sees the only way forward through killing people.
Wright was linked to many killings, both in their planning and execution. March 1991, the UVF killed 3 innocent Catholics at a mobile shop in Craigavon. The victims, 2 teenage girls and a 29-year-old man. 19-year-old Eileen Duffy was one of them.
So I got up in my room and prayed that everything was going to be alright, but no, it wasn't. It was just blood coming out of her mouth. It was sure dead. It was unbelievable, it was hard to take in. That was my daughter lying there, I was just still thinking of that, Can't get over it.
It's believed Wright wasn't one of the gunmen, but that he had planned the murders from the comfort of his Portadown home.
It was hard knowing that he was still walking around the streets just living his life and doing what he wants to do and all the rest of it. He should never have been allowed to. But at the end of the day, that's what happened.
As other loyalists started talking about ending their war, Wright was still plotting murder.
I think at the time the peace process was getting to its feet in the mid-90s and moving towards the Good Friday Agreement. Wright would have been the single figure within loyalism who represented the greatest threat to it.
October 1993, brothers Rory and Gerard Kearns are shot dead in their Bleary home in front of their 11-year-old sister.
The first gunman come in, Rory had got up and the first bullet went in onto his shoulder blade and he fell back in the seat again. Gerard was standing up when he was shot. He had his arm up like this. There was 3 bullet grazes on his left arm where he was holding it up to protect himself, So Gerard, I think, would have seen the men, alright, but Roy, I don't think did. He was just shocked as he sat there.
Wright is believed to have planned the murders.
He wasn't taking responsibility for it. Sometimes he did actually pull the trigger, but in most cases he didn't. There was all psychopaths below him that actually pulled the trigger.